Hi guys, welcome back to Sunday Leeds Champions League. My name is Chris, aka Big Will, and today, as you can see, we have left Karlsruher. Originally today we were going to have the last two games of the season with Karlsruher, but when it got down to it, excuse me, we lost our following three league matches. We were 5 points from safety, and we had Bayern Munich and Leipzig to play. Um, we then had more um, information provided to us from the board that they were losing patience, and that depending on how the Bayern Munich game went, that could have been my last game anyway. And in the end, I just decided to resign. I don't want another sacking on my conscience after the dismal showing that we did at Charlton Athletic. Um, and of course, Karlsruhe did get relegated anyway. We moved it through to the end of the current season for a number of the different leagues, of course, and there were some big jobs that came up. The likes of Juventus sacked Massimo Allegri. Valencia sacked their manager as well. We did go in for both of those jobs. We didn't hear back from them, but Borussia Monchengladbach approached me. So we had a bit of a chit chat, and voila, here we are. We are officially the new manager of Borussia Mönchengladbach. The season has finished now, by the way, as well. So this is a complete setup. We're going to go into basically how the club looks for the season ahead, but we're not actually at the transfer window yet either. So we have got plenty of opportunity to do some work at this football club before we officially get underway. So let's see what we have in store for us. So Borussia Mönchengladbach have today confirmed the appointment of myself as the club's new manager. Eyebrows have been raised in the world of football at the appointment. Um, it says, I've recently spent time away from club football. We resigned from Karlsruhe about a month ago. So not too much time. And he is sure to face plenty of questions when he faces the media for the first time. Willerton, who famously knocked out Hertha Berlin of the DFB Pokal in 2027. So that was when we were in Bundesliga 2 with Karlsruhe. Will no doubt be hoping to provide similar memorable moments in stepping up to a bigger club. He replaces previous manager Rogier Meyer. Alessio Dionisi was considered to be the favourite for the job, but following his public denial of any interest, the club were forced to move in another direction. Now, before Mönchengladbach actually approached me, it said that I was the favourite for the job anyway. I didn't the media asked me what I thought of it, and I said no approach has been made. It's all speculation at the moment, but it didn't stop them coming in. Gabriel Stupino, Marc Guitart, Prince Musombo, Gianluca Comotto, and Martin Paredes have all joined me here from the Karlsruhe backup team of all the coaches and such. They've all come in, and a number of other members of staff at Mönchengladbach have left the club as well. They actually finished in 14th place last season, and they've lost 3 of their last 5 matches. So a 14th place finish for Mönchengladbach is not good. They have very much underperformed last season. Upon signing the contract, the board wanted me to look at qualifying for the Europa League. I then went back to them. We've scaled it back to Conference League qualification. So we do have an opportunity, and then it'll be Europa League after that. They originally wanted to be notified as best of the rest in a couple of years, but because I scaled it back a bit, they're happy just trying to qualify for Europe each year. So I think that's reasonably realistic. We've got a transfer budget of only £8 million, good wage budget of 1.3 million, but I've not had a proper look at the squad yet. So there's going to be potentially a lot of players leaving the club as well as new players coming in, but I'll have to see how things go. And I may even go to Karlsruhe for 1 or 2 of their players as well, because despite how poor we were, I think it was just as a collective, we just weren't good enough. I think some of the individual players we could certainly bring into this Mönchengladbach side. And I must admit, I'm a little bit regretting the fact that we got Saric to sign a new deal. He would have been a player that I would have wanted to bring over for sure, but he's going to be far too much money, so he's definitely out of our price range. We've actually got a 54,000 capacity stadium, which is a very good foundation to build on. Great training facilities, great youth facilities, above average youth recruitment. I might try and improve the youth recruitment for sure, but the training facilities and youth facilities, if we can improve them, great. If not, then not. I'm not too sure on the financial aspects at the moment, but we'll see how things go. There's a number of loan deals currently in and out of the club as well. But again, we're going to be completely going through this team and having a proper look. Immediately, I'm looking at the fact that they've got Emerson Royale, who was previously of Real Madrid. I think he played for Madrid for a couple of years and Tottenham, of course. So good solid option there. I think he's probably in and around 30 years of age now. Koei Takora, I recognise as well. He never played a senior game, but he was at Manchester City for a time. Neuhaus, I recognise his name as well. Um, as a Manchester City fan, the very first European game I ever went to was a game against Borussia Monchengladbach, and their fans are fantastic. It must be said, their fans are absolutely brilliant. So I'm very much looking forward to getting into this one, to be honest. I don't recognise too many of the names, in all honesty, which is a bit of a surprise. They must have had a fairly big overhaul in the last few years, but we will have a look and see what's going on. So develop players using the club's youth system. That's absolutely fine. I'm sure we can manage a little bit of that. Work within the wage budget and grow the club's reputation is desired. The contracts situation, they don't want any older players, which is right up my street. I tend to prefer having a younger to mid range age group. Record Bundesliga top half finish at the end of next season. So the year after that, by the looks of it, is going to be qualified for the Europa Conference League. I think that's right. 30-31. Are we in? I think we might be in the 29-30 season. So I think that is a good base to start from. If we can get a top half finish, I think it'll be a very good achievement in our first season in charge, but we'll have to see how things go. Our contract expires at the end of next season as well. So I have a feeling a failure to qualify for Europe will probably see me end up leaving Mönchengladbach as well. He wants to play entertaining football and make the most set pieces and finish above FC Köln in the league. And, like I say, record a top half finish. That is the supporters' side of things. Scheduled press conference to meet the media. Yes, that's fine on every month. We'll confirm that. So, here we go. Review ongoing negotiations. Frank Honorat is on loan at Havre, and Havre have actually put in a £5.5 million bid for him. And to be quite honest, I'm going to leave that as it is. We could definitely do with that. Although, the way the bid's formatted isn't great, but I'm not too sure. I mean, that's just an ongoing negotiation at the moment. I think for now, I'll reject it at the moment. He is a player we'll probably end up potentially moving on, but I've rejected it for now. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of release clauses up here as well, which we can have a look at after. In terms of, well, I thought a 1.3 million wage budget was quite good. 90,000 we're overspending at the moment. So we'll just sort that out. It leaves us £2.5 million. So financially, it's not looking too good from a transfer perspective, is it? But I am potentially going to be looking at offloading some players. So tactical direction is required. I'll just do a basic setup for now. They like a vertical tiki-taka. Interesting. So we'll potentially go for something like that then. They like a narrow diamond, but I think we'll probably go for something like that. But I'm not too sure at the moment. I'll have to, before I actually commit to this, I think what I'll do is I'll have a look at the squad I mean, in terms of ability, we're not looking too bad on quite a few players here. Fran Garcia, a very good left back. He is very good as well, but he is 29 years of age. And again, some of the contracts that these players are on are quite sizable. Emerson's on 86 grand a week. And again, he's a quality right back. But again, I'm not entirely sure how we can mix it up. I'll just look at the general info and look at the general age of the squad. I mean, we've got how many? 11 players there that are that are 30 and over. And we've got players that aren't far behind in terms of approaching that either. So in terms of player valuation, we've got some pretty valuable players as well. So that is something that we can look forward to. Um, I mean, Marvin Friedrich is a good centre back, but again, at the age of 33, is he going to be playing? I'm not sure. Jonas Omlin, 35-year-old goalkeeper, we might have to upgrade there. Um, Jesus Awano isn't going to be a first teamer, that is for sure. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Kreshki and Ko Itakura starting to get on a little bit into their age, and Atakan Karlsruher is also another player like that, but some really good quality in there. I think it's just a lack of energy potentially in some of the players' legs, but overall, reasonably happy with the team. A couple of players are transfer listed as well. Carlos Romero is wanted by somebody. Currently our backup left back, so again, he could be a player that leaves. Schierodia, he's a German centre back and he's a very highly valued one as well. He's the kind of player that we're looking at basing the team around. He's 24 years of age, certainly has a future at this club. Givain, again, he's currently transfer listed. He is wanted as well. Again, I'll be reviewing all this off camera in relation to who we're going to keep and not. Honorat's definitely going to leave, but I think obviously we can get a better transfer fee. Manu Kone, very good central midfielder in my opinion, good passing and technique, really good mental attributes as well. He's again a good strong player for that midfield, but at the age of 28, he's got a couple of years left in him for sure, but we'll see what happens there. Neuhaus, again, good quality. Decent valuation for a 32-year-old. If we can get around that valuation for him, it's a no-brainer in my opinion to make some money on him. Rocco Wright's probably going to be a backup player, as is Mahmoud Dahoud, 33 years of age. He's actually out of contract, Mahmoud Dahoud, so he is going to be a player that will probably just let go, in all honesty. Obviously, I've got one eye on the wages as well, and I mean, he's out of contract and he's on 30 grand a week, so that does save us a good amount of money as well. John Solis currently out on loan. He'll come back into the side, 24-year-old Colombian. Could be of use to us, we'll see. Killian Sauk, decent valuation, again wanted. He's not going to light the world up, but again, could be of use. Same as Mark Erkenbrecher. He's obviously come through the youth academy, but again, lacking some of the necessary quality, in my opinion. Saibari, 28 years of age. Decent winger. Could be a pretty good option for us. Constantelius, I mean, he seems quite good. Very good valuation as well for out wide. Borges Sanchez is out on loan at the moment at Paderborn. He's probably a player that we'll look to sell. I don't think he's got enough about him. Degenhardt, young striker, not a good finisher considering he's a striker, but if he's a youth academy prospect, then he could be someone of use. Sidi Jatta will probably keep him around potentially. Decent valuation on him too. 26 years of age, Norwegian. Good amount of pace. Finishing is acceptable. Andre Silva, 33 years of age now. He's probably a player we'll let go, especially for the wages that he's on. And Julius Alma, I like the look of him. He's not the quickest, but he's a very good finisher, and he could be the future of this football club. He is a squad player at the moment, currently injured, which is unfortunate. He's only out for a short amount of time. Rocco Reitz will miss most of pre-season, so that could be a bit of a blow for his chances. We'll just have a look in the... where am I looking? What am I doing? That's what I'm doing. So in terms of the dev centre, again, got a few decent youngsters in there. I mean, Niko Vidic is 22. He'll probably leave the club. In all honesty, he's probably not going to make that step up. George Moser, young striker again, looks okay, but he might not make the step up. Alpazan Keles could be a backup goalkeeper for us, in all honesty. So he could be an option. Um, Philippe Yanish, he's not going to have the required quality, I don't think. And Suleiman Shaqiri looks to be a decent prospect at centre back. He's on 10 grand a week, though, and he doesn't look like he's going to break into the side immediately, that is for sure. He is wanted by Hoffenheim on transfer, so I mean, he's 6'4", the youngster, but his character is not a particularly good workhorse, and he's not that determined either. So he could be a player we also end up letting go, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we'll see. In terms of our second team, that's where these youngsters currently are. So there's plenty of two-star ability players with a little bit of potential, but again, nothing lighting the world up. Drisa Kamara's out of contract at the end of the season anyway, and he's on 11 grand a week. So we are going to be dropping some wages, that is for sure, but it's a case of whether it works or not. Shio Fukuda, again, he doesn't really have the required quality. I will move him into the senior team just to keep an eye on because obviously we can. He's probably a sellable asset, in all honesty. We've got a couple of good youngsters in the under-19s, but nothing to write home about, in all honesty. So I think first port of call potentially would be to sort out the youth recruitment, which takes me to the finances. Okay, I mean, they've got money in the bank, so that's a positive in itself. Wage budget, obviously, we are spending a lot of money at the moment. Transfer budget, we've just knocked down. 40% of transfer revenue isn't a lot, to be honest. In terms of projection, oh my word, minus 31 million, minus 73 million by the end of the following year. We need to cut back on some finances majorly. We need to cut back, and that is a bit of a concern in terms of projection. But in terms of debts and loans, net debt of £64 million. So that's going to be part of it, I would have said. 2036 and 2038 is when they're going to be finished by. Transfer debt is pretty much nil, so that's pretty good. So it looks better than what it is, to be honest. But it is something that we could potentially manage, in all honesty. Club Vision, obviously, we've already had a look at. And in terms of staff, we are falling a little bit short in the way of coaches. So that is something I am definitely going to be looking at. We are very short, in fact, on coaches. We brought in 2 new fitness coaches, of course. We've currently got a set piece coach in. He's a very good one at that. So he is certainly somebody we'll be keeping around. We've got Fabian Otte as well, who's a very good goalkeeping coach. So that is something else to be quite positive about. And Mirko Sandmüller, very good head of youth development. And again, largely it's going to be coaches that are going to be the problem, I think. With 1 goalkeeping coach and 2 fitness coaches, we certainly need to strengthen there. And I will need an assistant manager as well. So we've got plenty to do. Obviously, I'll be making a lot of decisions in the near future about the squad itself in relation to players that are obviously getting on a little bit. But I mean, I'm looking at some of these guys. I mean, a lot of them, most of them have played football, but I mean, Rocco Reit's only made a few substitute appearances. He's injured anyway. Mahmoud Dahoud played next to no football. He's leaving on a free. Brecker didn't play a lot of football either. Potentially could leave. Likewise, Saibari, sorry, he didn't play a lot of football either. Degenhardt, it's a difficult one for him as well, the young German. Sidi Jata didn't play a lot of football either, which does surprise me. I would have thought he'd have played a little bit more football, to be honest, Sidi Jata. He is actually wanted by Frankfurt. Um, but yeah, we'll have to just keep tabs on a few and see how they get on because, like I say, not a few of them played a good amount of football, but others haven't. Samuel Giovain didn't play a lot of football either. So again, he is currently transfer listed and he is wanted by a club. Elvedi, Carlos Romero, Mehmet Aydin. I mean, he's a decent player to me, Mehmet Aydin, but again, didn't play a lot of football last season. And obviously, we might end up having a bit of an overhaul with some of the rest of the squad. Marvin Friedrich, 33 now, he's probably going to leave too, but certainly a lot to do. But I mean, we're in middle of June. So if we can make some decisions pretty quickly, when it comes to July, hopefully the core of the backroom team will then be in and will have made some very important decisions regarding the squad. But I think there's a good foundation to build on for the most part. It is an aging squad, but the likes of Fran Garcia and Emerson Royal, I mean, Emerson Royal's just hit 30. I think to have that solid foundation at fullback will be important. I think one, maybe two centre backs will stay, but we need some younger guys to come in. I mean, Chiarodia certainly going to be a key player for us, without a doubt, if we can keep hold of him. Manacone, I'm quite happy within the midfield. But again, we need to strengthen in that area as well. And if we're going to have wingers, I mean, Sidi Yatta can play out wide, so that is a slight cover in that position. Andre Silva probably might leave, but Julius Alma, I think, will step into the side. In all honesty, I probably want to give him some football. I mean, we'll just have a look at him. I mean, he's actually a natural round doctor, but he will play as an inside forward and up front. Again, he's more than happy to play in that position as well. And he's only 21. He's capped at under 21 level as well, which is nice to see. If he could just build his pace up a little bit, he might just become the kind of player that we need. But we'll have to wait and see. But like I say, plenty of decisions to make. Honorat, of course, will leave. Solis probably could also leave. But again, he's only 24. He might stay. I'm not sure yet. Uh, Borja Sanchez is going to leave. Shio Fukuda is going to probably leave as well. Um, all of these players were loaned out last season. They don't have a place. They obviously didn't have a place last year, so they're probably not going to have a place this year, which is a bit harsh, but it is what it is. In terms of dynamics, things are reasonable. Wants to play in the Premier Division. Okay, so Elvedi actually wants to leave for the Premier League, and Andre Silva wants to return to Portugal. That's fine. If they want to go, they can go. So overall, pretty happy. But there's, like I say, there's plenty of work to do here, and we need to sort out our staff first and foremost after deciding on a tactical approach. Um, Four at the back is probably the way we're going to go. Looking at that midfield, there's a lot of central options and a very big lack of wingers, which is probably why they prefer to play that narrow diamond. But I mean, Alma can play out wide, of course, as can Sidi Yatta, which means that we'd only need one striker as well as potential replacements. Um, Constantelius is a winger, so that's another option as well. We might be all right. I mean, Killian Sauk, I'm not particularly enamoured by. He's only 22 though, but I mean, he's a good dribbler and he's decent pace, quite an exciting type player. So he might have a place in this squad. So if that's the case, we have got four wingers there. Um, and then it's just trying to rebuild the slightly aging midfield, and we'll see how things go in the meantime. But I'm quite excited, to be honest. There is work to do with the squad. If we can get some good players in, whether I'm open to the idea of signing older players, by the way. It's just if it's someone like I'll use a Man City player as an example, like Bernardo Silva. Right about now, he's probably 34, 35. If they're available on a free transfer, I'll pick them up for a year because they've got so much quality and experience at all levels. Then it'll work. Whereas one or two of these players potentially haven't even played in Europe, and that's something that we need to consider, considering that that's our target. Um, so again, a lot to do, but I'm quite excited about what the future might bring here. And we will return for the first couple of games of the season. I think we'll be partway through the transfer window at that point, so there'll be plenty to get through, hopefully. And yeah, let's hope for a positive start. So until next time, guys, thank you very much for your support. Please like, subscribe to the channel. It is all greatly appreciated. I will see you all next time. This is Big Will, signing away.